gang? Back with another video today. We're going to be talking about something extremely important. Now, I had an extreme revelation. Now, remember that when it comes to technology, in most cases, there's not one way to do anything. Meaning, if you make the circuit, if you make the proper connections, and it works, then you did it. You made technology. And here's what I realized about my entire game journal. It's a bunch of logic that was represented as physical drawings, physical structures that I illustrated, and maybe in a cheap and lazy way. But I thought about it like this. You could take one page and you could find a bunch of different ways to describe that page. And if it works, then that is inherently still a logic flowing through that structure. And not only that, but for every way that you could describe it, for everything that it could describe, every phenomena, every different unrelated but related logical structure that you could find and describe with one image is pretty much a quantum communicator. And I'd say quantum here. Let's say it's etceteral. And so if you looked at this page and you found 10 different ways to describe it, 10 different ways that actually made sense and flowed through the illustration logically, then what you could actually do with those 10 logics is illustrate them in articulate forms on their own and then combine it into its own little machine. And by combining it into its own little machine, you think you need electricity, you think you need power, a light bulb, etc., but you don't. By making the physical construct of the logical construct that's hardened in mass, it logically existing and being physical in real life changes the logical physical position of what's happening, the form of what's happening throughout all of everything, meaning everything that's occurring, once again, is logically lined out, logically gridded. If it's there, there is a logical tracking and reason for it being there. If it's happening logically before it occurs physically. And so by taking these 10 different logics that you could put on one little construct and mapping them out as their own little thing and piecing them together into one system, what you can make is pretty much a super logic transformer, etceteral technology that, because it exists, is altering the logical position of everything around it, contrasting the logical field, the logical physical field around it, altering what's now logically possible because of its existence in contrast to that field, creating friction, creating energy, etc., altering what you do. Think about it like this: if you never see something, then how can it affect your thinking in a direct way? You seeing it is like energy being put into your brain that changes your thinking. By making this 10-layer construct as a cardboard box, as a metal box, etc., and maybe even running electricity through it, you have made a logical physical construct that, because of its existence, being logically and physically there, alters the logical physical settings around it at an accelerated pace. Because remember, if it's done right, if it's connected, if it's still logical, meaning doesn't matter how you do it, you can take a piece of paper and cut it up and put it together in a logical form. It existing and representing a logical form, which, by the way, existence has the ability to keep track of and measure, will actually alter the environment and produce results, regardless of whether you see it doing something in movement in its little area. And that's how that's how I accelerated my thinking and my ability to describe what's going on. So, this is important information here. I forgot it. No, I didn't. So, in any given case, two people oppose each other. It's their structure versus the other structure. They argue, they compete, and where in most cases we would like to see both of them work together and combine their structure into one to make a superstructure that keeps both of them alive and also increases the environment around them. In some cases, both parties may try to eliminate the other, and then the only one who is left is then ultimately left to freely add their structure of behavior into the environment, altering the environment into what they already believe or act like it is. Now, in this case, where there's competition, let's say that there is a logical structure and there's an illogical structure. And they could both be logical to an extent, but at the point that they're at conflict, one of them is either not seeing something Okay, well that's not always true. It could be that they're just struggling to line up like puzzle pieces that need to change themselves. But let's say in this case, it's one of them is logical. They're both logical to a small radius, but then after that, they're free thinking. And at that free thinking, the one who's more logical is the one who's going to win, and the one who's less logical is the one who's going to lose. Because in order to keep going, you have to be logically stable enough to create the frustration hold that stores the energy that then becomes the material experience. So let's say that this guy, he hates that he's always wrong and that this guy's always going to win. And so he makes a move. He eliminates this guy. And because this guy is gone and there's nothing to challenge his structure, there's no relative force to say that his structure is wrong, so he can always act as if his structure is right and then attempt to become the rest of the environment. Now, this is usually what happens whenever people start going, man, I'm tired of you. You always talking, man. Man, I'm sick of that shit. You always just saying stuff, though. And that's what's going on the molecular level. They are trying to eliminate an opponent, a challenger, a competitor who is more logical than them. And this is what they're trying to eliminate them so that there's nobody to oppose their logic. Therefore, without relativity of challenge, making their logic look like it's illogical simply by being the only or most relative logic existing. Here's how it works. These two people, they argue with each other, yada yada, they're all like, yeah, nah. He's like, no, actually that's wrong because there's more going on than what you're saying. Yeah, I can say the same thing about you. Yeah, but you knew the context that I meant it, and you would mess up our ability to understand each other if you did that. I don't care. What the fuck? What did you do? Please. And then he keeps going. Yeah, and then so pretty much he keeps going. And we can even illustrate that as like this. So logical structure is working. This structure know that it's not as logical as this structure, and that it's not going to win if they both continue simply by building themselves at a fair pace. Now, this structure, in order to ensure that it gets more of the environment, eliminates this structure, causing this structure, because it's still logical, you can't just eliminate it. It'll still rearrange itself into a small, if you ate all of it, if you ate a large portion of it up, whatever was left would rearrange itself back into a logical structure, like what happened to me. And this guy, he's all like, I'm gonna win, I did it. There's nobody challenging me. You said that reality was a shared module. So if nobody else is putting their input in, then the output's just gonna be what I want, right? Wrong. Here's why. So let's say that instead of arguing that this is a demonstration of conflict between two individuals, let's say that this is a demonstration between two logical environments that also need to sustain themselves. Now, if this logical environment is too chaotic to have any stability and therefore nothing can occur, including life, that's healthy, helpful, beneficial at all, then this is the logic that would win. This is the logical environment that would win. And so, pretty much, if this person wins, then the environment also becomes logical with them, or they are reaching what is already a logical construct in existence, or that's being created or crafted. It's in a superposition. So this person seems to win for a while, but because their logical structure cannot sustain itself, they begin to collapse. It's a basic rule. Every individual needs to follow basic conditions to survive: food, water, shelter, etc., etc. If this person, even if there's nobody around to challenge him, is not meeting those conditions, then they will eventually fall because they are not meeting the necessary conditions for them to maintain stability in life. And so, even if they kill the guy, and they're the only ones left, they'll still eventually crash because the reasons that they were inferior and had to shoot or kill the other target, kill the other competitor, was because they could not sustain themselves logically. And so as that's practiced onto the environment without anyone challenging them, the environment will just eliminate them because it's already hard. It doesn't care. It's just gonna go, what the fuck? This is stupid. Hold on. Am I using the right one? It's just gonna go, what the fuck? This is dumb. This is fucking retarded. Nigga, this is stupid. Shut the fuck up, nigga. And that's what it's gonna do. And that's usually when people go, he ain't do nothing wrong, or I've been working so hard my entire life, and all that shit. That's usually when people do that, because they thought that they won the argument by eliminating the other opposer, by eliminating the more logical opposer, and then once it crashed, they acted like victims because they thought that it wasn't their fault that it was happening. But remember, if you had to eliminate somebody because they made more sense than you, then ultimately you lost regardless. That's just how that is. It's just life. That's facts. 100%. So, what happened with us when we were all younger, and we didn't really say all this stuff out loud, but it was always occurring on a molecular level, is that, let's say in an environment that has a certain set of conditions, in order to respond accurately, you must first respond to what the environment is, and then do what you want, right? And then you do what you want. After you respond to what the environment actually is, you then do what you want. But let's say somebody wants to have a response that the environment doesn't have. Let's say that they want to be able to do this next, but the way the environment is does not permit or allow it. And so they begin saying that the environment is whatever it needs to be in order for them to do what they want next, right? But the issue is, regardless of whether they say that or convince themselves of it, the environment is still going to be what it is, leading to this sort of collapse again. Now, here's what happened. I was saying, hey guys, look, but if you notice this, have you noticed all these things over here? And they were like, no, this is what the environment is because we all want to be in control now. Shut the fuck up, bitch ass nigga. We're going to kill you. You're not getting any bitches. Fuck you, nigga. And so I kept being like, look, guys, I get what you're saying, but there's just more going on than what you're responding to. And then you guys kept going, and it was like, yeah, but it's us versus you. How can we all be wrong? And it'd be like, and I was like, well, you guys are choosing to see what you want rather than actually accurately respond to the environment before you act, because not doing so will prevent you from being able to stay healthy after a long while. Mental illness became popular. Drugs became popular. That's not related. That's just life. You would rather believe that that's just life than you would believe that you did something wrong. By the way, but I hit you guys with there's more going on than what you guys are responding to. You need to acknowledge these things in order for your actions to be accurate and healthy. You guys start going, and especially whenever I start building my stuff, you start going, nah, Kendall, nah, E, there's more than what you're saying happening, so why should we listen? So why should we do what you want? Little fucking bitches, bro. Little bitches. On every single, I'll stand on business, nigga. I'll fuck you up. Oh, hold on, I gotta stand up real quick. Yeah, y'all were all being little bitches. That's all this shit was. Y'all were being little bitches. I was right, and you ganged up on me. And I'm standing on business. You see this? This is business. I'm standing on it. Okay? So, yeah. But yeah, so now we're at a point where, because I actually kept measuring the environment, like I said, even if you guys are cutting through with your calcified lie that you all tell each other the environment is so you can do what you want, what's logically occurring is still logically occurring around it. And so every space that you couldn't cut me off, I was still doing and learning and building myself. And so whereas by being cut off, you thought that I would never have the skill or ability to gain knowledge because I didn't go to school, etc., I kept logically practicing all the things that were superior enough for you to try and shut it down. And so what happened is, I eventually became smarter, more recognizing of the environment, what it's doing, its patterns, what it is, how it works. And you guys are like, what the fuck? But I cut him off so that I could be the smart one. What the hell? What the hell? And now it's getting to the point where you guys are becoming so fluid, so lost, so inoperable, so structural that you're having to give in to my logic a lot more often, causing me to become more in the calcified area. Eventually getting rid of all of this and becoming what I want it to be. And I'm not a supervillain. I'm not a bad guy. You guys wanted to do things that didn't make sense. I told you not to, and then you pretty much cucked me out of our peer group. Remember that, guys? Remember when you did that? Remember when you did that to me? Huh? Remember when you did that to me? So yeah. Is what it is. But here, for all you people that want to make etceteral machines with me, etceteral machinery, once again, look at this page. You can pause it. Look at this page. Think of any other thing that you can say that can follow through this physical construct as it is right now. And if you can think of 3 things, take them, draw them out as they draw them out, or write them out as they are, and then build make cardboard and do wiring circuitry like with foil or some shit, and connect it all. And because you actually did that, which you didn't have to logically or physically do, because you actually did that, it alters what the environment logically and physically is, changing what is now possible within it. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I stick my finger here and the ant wants to keep going straight, me sticking my finger here means that the ant has to go around it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's pretty much what this is. Because it exists and it logically exists and is relative and contrasting all logical physical positions around it, it is actually creating energy, therefore altering the material experience into whatever logical system that it comprehended. So yeah. Love you guys so much. I don't know if you guys can feel that. I literally feel heat in my ear. Damn, shawty. Hold on.